is the graphic organizer. So the graphic organizer is the assignment that you're going to turn in for 10:03. And if you take a look here, I have the assignment of what you're going to be doing, and then we'll get into the notes that I have. So the graphic organizer, you're going to complete and submit your hand-drawn informative graphic organizer that you worked on in the lesson. And I'll show you where you're going to start that in the lesson on Buzz. And then here's the writing prompt. Choose one. Actually, I'm going to bold that. Choose one of the 4 focus areas from the American Revolution War to research and answer the question attached to the focus area. So here you've got 4 different options. You only have to choose one of these options. And I'm even going to number them here so that it's clear. So you only have to choose one of these questions for your graphic organizer. So number 1, your focus would be the famous leader other than George Washington. You can't select George Washington. It would need to be another famous leader that you read about within 10:01, 10:02, and 10:03. Famous event. How did a famous event change the course of the American Revolutionary War? Role of women. How did women make a significant contribution to the American Revolutionary War? And 4, roles of the Allies. How did the Allies help the 13 colonies win the American Revolutionary War? So you're going to select one of those focus areas, and you're going to answer that question that goes along with that focus area. So if you're interested in the roles of the Allies, you would choose this question to answer. If you're interested in famous leaders, you would choose this question to answer through your graphic organizer. Now, there will be a video. This video will be attached here, but I put a note here for the graphic organizer. So this assignment in lesson 10:03 is a continuation of what you have worked on in 10:01 and 10:02. So if you haven't noticed already, within these lessons on Buzz, in one module, you have multiple lessons. And when it comes to the writing pieces in ELA, every lesson you're working on a little bit of your essay. So this assignment really actually starts in 10:01. Then you do a little in 10:02, and then 10:03 is where you're doing your graphic organizer that you're going to turn in. So you will need to make sure that you have gone through each lesson carefully in order to complete the graphic organizer for 10:03. Now, I even went through and I have given you the important pages that relate to the writing assignment for each of the lessons 10:01, 10:02, and 10:03. So if you look right here, in 10:01, pages 7 and 8 go along with this writing process. 10:02, pages 7 and 8 go through with the writing process. And then 10:03, the lesson that this assignment is for, pages 6 and 7 go along with the writing process. So you're going to need to make sure that you focus carefully on those pages in 10:01, 10:02, and 10:03 to be able to get this graphic organizer completed. Okay, so I'm going to actually walk you through these pages. That way you have an understanding of what you're doing in order to do the graphic organizer. So let's go to ELA. And we're going to start with 10:01. And as I said, pages 7 through 8 are going to be the focus on the writing. Now, you're obviously going to need to go through each page of this lesson to get all of the content and all the important information. But for this assignment purpose, we're going to just look at the pages that go along with our writing. So you're focusing on researching. So I'm not going to read through all of this, but this goes through what the writing process is. Okay, so we've looked at this writing process before. This is more focused on a writing process when you are doing a research paper. So you're going to have to do a little bit of extra research here. Then you've seen this plenty of times. Okay, we're writing an informative essay. So this goes over the different parts of your essay, what is included in your intro, what's included in your body paragraphs, and what is included in your conclusion. And here you've got your writer's publishing checklist. Okay, and this is giving you the directions of what you need to do. So even before you can start brainstorming about your topic for an informative essay, you have to choose a topic. Print and read the following article, The American Revolutionary War, which I'll show you where that article is, and look for ideas that can help you decide which of the following 4 topics you would like to choose to write an informative essay on. And then you've got your checklist. So you want to make sure you use that as you're writing your essay and as you're planning for your essay. That's an important checklist there. And then you are choosing one of these 4 focus areas. And these are the same focus areas that we saw right here. It's the same 4. So you're going to choose one from the American Revolutionary War to research and answer the question that's attached to the focus area. So you're going to select what focus area you're interested in, and then you're going to answer that question that goes along with it. So if you're interested in famous events, you're going to answer, how did a famous event change the course of the American Revolutionary War? So you're going to have to just take some time, think about what interests you, and then you're going to answer that question. Now here it says you need to read the article, The American Revolutionary War. That article is here in 1001 at the very bottom here, right here, the American Revolutionary War text. You pull that up, you're going to want to read it carefully. And as you're reading it, you want to think about those 4 topics that you can choose from and answering those questions. Okay, so it's just a 2-page article that you're going to want to read and think about those 4 topics and what topic interests you. Okay, so that's what you do on page 7. Page 8, this is where you start your brainstorming. So now that you've selected your topic, it's time to brainstorm using a mind map. And so here it tells you, here's your try it. This is what you're going to need to do in order to prepare for 1003 when you're doing your graphic organizer. And it walks you right through exactly what you need to do. It gives you an example. There's some reflection to do that you can share your mind map with your family member. So that's the writing for 1001. And again, you want to make sure you go through this process so that you can do your assignment for 1003. So now let's look at 1002, because as I said, each lesson builds a little bit with the writing. All right, so 1002, pages 7 and 8. And again, you're going to want to go through this entire lesson, but for the writing purpose, we're looking at 7 and 8. So you've been reading about the American Revolutionary War and have chosen a topic. So by now you've chosen this topic, you've started brainstorming. Now it's time to gather some great evidence through research. This video will help you learn how you can do your own research. So you're going to want to make sure you watch this video about conducting your own research. Here you can review the writing prompts, but by now you should already have one selected and you've already brainstormed some ideas for that topic that you want to research and that question that you're going to be researching. But just in case you want to maybe change your mind, then you've got here where you are starting the first research step. And then this goes over how to find that research. And it actually gives you some different search engines that you can use to start researching your question. And there's a video that goes along with it. All right, and then it gets into reliable sources, making sure you use websites that are reliable. And there's a checklist here that you can pull up that helps you kind of determine if a source is reliable. You want to make sure that you're using information that is correct. So for example, I'm sure you've already heard like Wikipedia isn't the best resource because anybody in the world can go and edit and add to Wikipedia. You want to make sure you're choosing websites that are reliable, that have information that is correct. So that's just a helpful little sheet that can help you with the reliability part. And then it gets into more about finding sources that are reliable and not reliable. So make sure you go through this slideshow here and go through that content to make sure that when you are researching, you're using information that is correct. And then also you have page 8. You're going to continue with the last 3 steps in the I find method. So we're going to focus on informing, taking notes, paraphrasing, using quotes. Okay, and this, again, it walks you through everything that you need to do as you are preparing for your essay. So make sure you go through this slideshow here because it's going to help you as you go and get ready for your graphic organizer in 1003. So that's an important piece right here on page 8. Okay, this slideshow. And then you've got some review and reflection as you're continuing on. Now, 1003 is the lesson that you have for the graphic organizer. And as I said before, you'll go through all 9 pages of this lesson to get that content in. The essay portion is on pages 6 and 7. And now in 1003, this is where you're working on your graphic organizer. So here, and again, you'll go through all of this here. This is just kind of talking about run-on sentences. But here is where you start your graphic organizer. Let's see here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You want page 7. My apologies. So this is where, so page 6 was more about run-on sentences. This is where you're actually going to start your graphic organizer. So you've already brainstormed ideas connected to your topic and started researching about it too. You're right on track to begin with your writing plan, which is the next step in the writing process. Look at the topics that you brainstormed and choose a color or symbol for each topic. Put the color or symbol beside each note that applies to the topic. Ask yourself the following questions. How many notes do you have for each topic? Do you have enough information to write a body paragraph for each topic? If not, look at your notes. Do you have enough notes? Do you need to go and do more research? And then again, there are the writing prompts. And here, before you start your graphic organizer, this is just a review of the important parts. So if you click on these blue dots, it kind of reviews the different parts of the graphic organizer, what a controlling idea is, the body paragraphs and what needs to be included in your body paragraphs, and then your conclusion and what needs to be included in your conclusion. So this is a great review of the informative graphic organizer. And now here's where you're starting your graphic organizer. At the bottom of page 7, here, right here, this slideshow, it tells you exactly what you need to do. Here you're using a plain sheet of paper. In your notebook, you're going to draw a plan for your informative essay. To create your plan, draw boxes to represent the ideas in your introduction, each of your body paragraphs, and your conclusion. So you're pretty much recreating this graphic organizer, but you're going to have more than one body paragraph. Okay. And it goes through what do you need to have in each of your sections of your graphic organizer. You'll have an introduction, and this is what you need to include in your introduction. The hook, how to grab your reader. A great way to grab your reader is to start with a question. The bridge is some background information. The controlling idea, this is the map of your essay. What are your 3 reasons? What are your 3 things that your essay is going to be focusing on? Your 3 body paragraphs, that's your controlling idea. Then you'll have 3 body paragraphs. And this you'll include a topic sentence, evidence and research, a closing sentence, and then some transitional words at the beginning of each of those paragraphs. And then your conclusion. This is where you restate your controlling idea and then have a closing sentence or a closing statement. Okay. And then this is where you're also going to include headings. They're going to have you include the text feature of headings to organize the topics of your informative research paper. So this even tells you to look at page 2 of the book, The Loyalist, which is in this lesson of 1003 in earlier pages. And it tells you to read the notes and the comment bubbles to see how headings are used. And then on your informative graphic organizer, plan the headings you will use for the body paragraphs of your informative research paper. So you're going to include on your graphic organizer what headings you're going to use. And here it even gives you some examples, and it gives you those speech bubbles of how the headings are used. So you can kind of get an idea of how you want to include headings and what those headings will be in your essay. And you want to include those in the graphic organizer. Okay, so this is where you're doing your graphic organizer. Okay, and I think, yeah, so page 8 is just what did you learn. So again, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to make an edit here. 1003 is just page 7. So again, you're going to want to make sure you look at 1001, 1002, and 1003, especially those pages that focus on the writing. And you are doing a graphic organizer for 1003, focusing on one of these focus areas and answering that question by providing research and evidence. Okay. When you're done with your graphic organizer, and you can do your graphic organizer right in your notebook like it says in the lesson, when you are done, you're going to go to your next activity tab and you will submit by clicking on the blue plus button and attaching your work.